The iron gates of the private estate were already sliding shut when the small voice broke through the evening air. "My daddy didn't come back." Amara Sinclair froze mid-step. The driver had one hand on the door of the black sedan, the other checking his watch, reminding her gently that the board dinner downtown would start in less than an hour. Investors were flying in from 3 states away. Deals worth millions waited for her signature. Yet the words echoed again, trembling this time. "My daddy didn't come back." Amara turned. A little girl stood near the hedge-lined walkway, no more than 6 or 7 years old. Her hair was tangled, her shoes muddy, her cheeks streaked with dried tears. She clutched a pink backpack to her chest as if it were the only thing holding her upright. The guards by the gate exchanged confused looks. "Whose child is that?" one of them muttered. Amara walked toward her without thinking, heels clicking against stone. "Sweetheart," she said softly, kneeling despite the expensive suit she wore. "What did you say?" The girl looked up, eyes wide and glassy. "My daddy went into the woods," she whispered. "He said he'd be right back. But it's getting dark." Amara glanced toward the far end of the property where the manicured gardens ended and the woods began. Tall, dense, and old. The kind of forest that swallowed light even before sunset. "Where's your mother?" Amara asked. The girl shook her head slowly. "It's just me and daddy." A tight knot formed in Amara's chest. "Did anyone else see your father?" one of the guards asked, stepping closer. The child flinched at his deep voice and pressed closer to Amara. "It's okay," Amara said, placing a steady hand on the girl's shoulder. "What's your name?" "Lily." "Lily," Amara repeated gently. "I'm Amara. When did your daddy go into the woods?" Lily sniffed. "Before the sun started going down. He was looking for our dog. Rusty ran in there." Amara straightened slowly. Her assistant cleared his throat. "Ms. Sinclair. Security protocol. Call the dinner and cancel," Amara said without looking back. "And get a flashlight." The assistant blinked. "Ma'am, I said cancel," she snapped, then softened as Lily tugged her sleeve. "And bring 2 flashlights. And a first aid kit." The gates stopped closing. 10 minutes later, Amara stood at the edge of the woods, holding Lily's small hand in one of her own and a flashlight in the other. 2 guards followed a few steps behind, radios crackling softly. The forest loomed like a living thing. The air smelled damp, earthy. Leaves crunched beneath their feet. "Daddy went this way," Lily said, pointing down a narrow path barely visible through the trees. Amara hesitated only a moment before nodding. "Okay, we'll go together." As they walked, Lily spoke in short, worried bursts. "Daddy said he used to come here when he was little. He said he knew the paths. He said not to be scared." Amara swallowed. "Is your daddy good at keeping promises?" Lily nodded fiercely. "He always comes back." They walked deeper. The light thinned. The sounds of the estate disappeared, replaced by rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Amara's mind, trained for strategy and risk assessment, ran through scenarios she hated acknowledging. Injury, disorientation, worse. "Ms. Sinclair," one guard said quietly, "we should call local search and rescue." "We will," Amara replied. "But not after we've tried." They found the first sign 20 minutes in, a torn strip of red fabric snagged on a low branch. "That's Daddy's shirt," Lily cried. Amara's heart jumped. "You're sure? He wore it today." Amara shone the flashlight farther ahead. "He's close. I know it." They pressed on, calling out. "Sir," Amara called. "Can you hear us?" "Daddy," Lily shouted, her small voice cracking. At first, there was only silence. Then, faint, distant, something answered. "Help." Amara's breath caught. That way. They hurried, branches scratching at their clothes. The path sloped downward into a shallow ravine. There, half hidden among rocks and roots, lay a man. He was conscious, barely, one leg twisted unnaturally beneath him. His face was pale with pain, but his eyes widened when he saw Lily. "Baby," he croaked. Lily broke free from Amara's hand and ran to him, dropping to her knees. "Daddy, I told them you didn't come back." Tears streamed down his face as he cupped her cheek. "I'm sorry, pumpkin. I fell. I tried to stand, but..." Amara knelt beside them. "Don't move," she said calmly. "We're going to get you out." The guards moved into action, radios alive with urgent calls. As they waited, Amara stayed with Lily, holding her close while her father winced through waves of pain. The flashlight cast long shadows across the ravine. "You didn't have to come," the man said weakly, looking at Amara. "She must have wandered onto your property." "She did the bravest thing she could," Amara replied. "She asked for help." Sirens echoed faintly in the distance. When paramedics finally arrived and carefully lifted Lily's father onto a stretcher, Lily refused to let go of his hand. "I'm not leaving him," she said, chin lifted stubbornly. "You don't have to," Amara said. "I'll go with you." The ambulance ride was quiet except for the hum of the engine. Lily leaned against Amara, exhaustion finally catching up with her. At the hospital, the diagnosis was serious but not life-threatening. A broken leg, dehydration. He would recover. When Lily's father was settled and sleeping, a nurse brought Lily a juice box and a blanket. She looked up at Amara with sleepy eyes. "Are you a doctor?" she asked. Amara smiled faintly. "No." "Are you rich?" Lily asked bluntly. Amara chuckled despite herself. "Some people think so." Lily considered this. "Then you're nice." Something inside Amara cracked. Hours later, after arrangements were made and contact information exchanged, Amara prepared to leave. Lily's father, awake now, reached for her hand. "I don't know how to thank you," he said quietly. "I work maintenance on nearby properties. We were just passing through. If you hadn't listened." "I almost didn't," Amara admitted. He frowned. "What changed your mind?" Amara glanced toward Lily, asleep in the chair, clutching her backpack. "She said her daddy didn't come back," Amara said. "I don't think anyone should have to say that and not be heard." She left the hospital well past midnight. The next morning, the board dinner was the least of her concerns. Over the following weeks, Amara couldn't shake the memory of Lily's voice. Or the woods. Or how close everything had come to ending differently. She commissioned new safety measures around the estate. Open access emergency call points. Clearer paths. Better lighting. Then she did something she hadn't done in years. She took a day off. She drove to the small rental complex where Lily and her father lived. She brought groceries. And dog treats. Rusty, the culprit behind everything, bounded toward her, tail wagging wildly. Lily shrieked with laughter. "Rusty, you're grounded." Her father stood on crutches, smiling sheepishly. "You really didn't have to come." "I wanted to," Amara said. They sat together on the small porch. Lily chattered endlessly, showing Amara her drawings, one of which showed 3 stick figures holding hands under tall trees. "That's you," Lily explained. "You ran into the woods." Amara stared at the picture longer than she meant to. That evening, as she drove home, Amara realized something unsettling. She had spent years running companies, managing crises, protecting assets. But it had taken a lost little girl to remind her why gates existed in the first place. Not to keep people out, but to know when to open them. And every time Amara passed the edge of the woods after that, she slowed her car, listening. Just in case someone needed to be heard again.